All right. Okay. And we have uplink. 5, 6, 7, 8. Welcome. It's nice to be here. You look sharp as always. Thank you. How have you been, man? Good. Really good. It's a great time to be alive. Well, I don't know if I go that far. But no, actually, you're right. You're right. Considering everything, it is a great time to be alive. You know, in talking to the others, I began to realize that not many people know you come from old money. Shoulder pads, something like that, right? That's right. Good memory. And now you're one of the most prolific venture capitalists around. That's right. Oh, and try to keep the mic close to your mouth. They're pretty sensitive. About a fist away from your mouth. Yeah, I know. This is not my first rodeo. So I'm very interested in how that transition came to be. I mean, shoulder pads must have stopped being profitable a long, long time ago, right? Like in the 60s? No, not at all. You're actually referring to the Noel Rohr effect, a misconception of the outward appearance of the peak of a business and the reality of its performance internally. But I haven't seen any in like forever. When was peak shoulder pads? I remember well. December 21st, 1988. Working Girl had just been released in the theaters. Profits were obscene. I could finally afford to take bathroom breaks every 5 minutes to powder my nose. Oh, big cocaine days. Good God, man, no. I have a small bladder and combination skin. Okay. Well, I'm surprised to hear that peaked in 1988. Yes, well, most people forget about important aspects of that industry. First, 99% of people have two shoulders. Right, of course. And the population itself doubled between the 50s and the 90s. More people, more shoulders. Right. And finally, I had come up with Operation Garber. Garber? Yeah, so in the 60s, the business was plateauing. That's a business term for flat. Yeah. So I came up with a plan, an operation, to get women to forego family and instead toil away in offices to work their way up the corporate ladder. Okay. See, men only wear 1 or 2 suit jackets. That at most is 4 pads, shoulder pads. Women, on the other hand, use fashion as a sexual weapon. Might have 10, nigh 12 jackets. We're talking shoulders out the yin-yang. Can we say that here? Yin-yang? Yeah, we can. So are you serious? Very. So you're saying you started feminism? Yeah, I even created the term itself. No, you didn't. Yeah, it's a combination of the words fee and mini and small, or SM. So we were essentially acknowledging the markup fee for creating a mini and SM, small, size shoulder pads, as opposed to only regular size. Fee, mini, SM. Fee for mini and small. Feminism. Men are regular, Paul. Okay, so how long did it last, the business? We sold in 2000 to a large conglomerate, a wig company, actually, and I've been in venture capital ever since. Luckily got in right after the dot-com bust. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot. Have you ever met Paul in person? Oh, now stop. My father's name is Paul. You can call me Mr. Collider. Yes. Okay, so I can imagine being a venture capitalist and a serial entrepreneur isn't easy. The way I understand it is, more often than not, ideas are losers than winners, right? But when they win, they really win big. That's correct. And I can imagine there's a lot of unscrupulous characters out there that try to dupe you out of your money. Oh yeah, that of course comes along with capital games. A lot of times you might be getting involved in industries you are new to, or industries that are new to everyone, those on the forefront. It requires as much knowledge as you can acquire, a small bit of speculation, and a whole lot of trust. I remember once I was talked into buying a ghost town, and it turned out it was just an abandoned town. You thought You thought there would be ghosts? Ghost town. What did you want with a ghost town? Many people don't realize that ghosts are a really great investment. At the time, I was wanting to expand our seasonal offerings, like haunted houses, but also beef up our talent agency. You know, we currently represent over 70% of the industry's ghosts, small and big screen, no stage. But most importantly, there was compelling new evidence that the energy capacity of ghosts... Like harvest their energy? Yeah. How much energy is there in a ghost? The average size ghost, enough to power a small city or a large sub. Whoa. Yeah, and you can also eat ghosts, rich in electrolytes, no carbs, low calories. Gotta watch the sodium. Have you ever had ghost? Yeah. What do they taste like? Maybe spicy unicorn. But you're pretty entrepreneurial now too, right? I love that about you. You have a couple businesses yourself, isn't that right? Yes, I do actually. Now I heard something. Do you still sell that horse contraption thing? Well, you're referring to the the horse invention. It's I can't legally sell it in the United States anymore. What? Really? And why is that? I can't really talk about it. I mean, the settlement's sealed. But let's just say, you know that saying, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? Yeah. Well, at the time, I didn't realize that was just a saying. Oh, my. But those cases are settled now. But... yeah, you know, for the last 6 months, I've expanded my business into notary. Oh, really? That's great. Now, is that hard? I heard it was hard, you know, to applying to the state, passing the exam, getting certified with the proper licenses and all that. It's not hard. But of course, my last invention, the ironing hoard. Hoard? With an H? Yeah, it's a combination of hand and board. Okay. So it's a small ironing board you wear as a glove. And then with the other hand, you have your iron, so you can iron your clothes while they're hanging. Oh, okay. Yeah, so, you know, it's if you don't have a lot of space or if you just need to do a small touch-up here and there, you know. Well, that sounds interesting. Good luck with that. Thanks. But, you know, what I'm really excited about is my home improvement show. Oh, yes. Yeah, I love that. I just saw your latest episode yesterday, or the other day. That was so fun. Yeah, well, we have a clip of that. Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me on the latest episode of Know Your Home. Today, we're going to be looking at the pipes you might find underneath your house. Now, I didn't want to crawl under my house and disturb the pipes, and I noticed a new mansion was built recently, a few blocks away. The owners were on vacation, so I thought, this is a great opportunity. Now, as far as safety goes, what you're going to want to do first is shut off the water to the house. Your water shutoff is near the curb in your front yard. It's placed there for convenience. Now, all the pipes are connected, so you're going to want to shut off the water to both neighbors' houses, too. So you'll also notice that there's a lot of wires down here. So you're going to want to shut the electricity off, too, and that also goes for both the neighbors. That's why the electrical panels are near the front of the house. It's for your convenience. So go ahead and shut the water and the electricity off for your house that you're working on and both neighbors. Once you've done that, we're ready to go. Now... let's see, let's get to know our plumbing. Now it looks like this house. This is the first pipe we got here. I just cut them open, and I don't know what they are. So the first one I cut was a nice white one. Let's see. It says PVC. Now this one I'm tracing. It looks like it goes from the front to the back of the house. Now I believe that this, let's see if we can get a little, I think it's potable water. Yeah, that's hose water. So this must be for sprinklers and hoses. Yeah. Hose water is very distinctive. Now, on the next pipe we got here is a nice hard one, a shiny one. Let's see, this is an orange goldy. This is copper. Now I believe this one is your main drinking supply water. Let's see. Ugh. Oh yeah, fresh water.
That's your hot and cold water. This one's nice and bendable. I believe, let's see, PEX. I think this is a newer style water supply. There's different colors. I see there's a red one, a white one, and a blue one. Now, I believe that this replaces the copper piping nowadays. Let's see, this should be fresh water. Oh yeah, quite fresh. Nice and bendable, probably very easy to install. Now, those are the 3 types of pipes you're going to find underneath your house: PEX, PVC, and copper. Now, I want to thank you for joining me on this latest episode. Whoa, okay, wait a minute. Looks like we got another pipe here. I didn't see this one. What is this? Oh, whoa. Now, this one is large. Whoa. Whew. I don't know what that. You know what I think this is? Oh. Whew. This is a mansion. I bet you these people got a microbrewery, and this is some sort of fermented hops. But I heard fermented hops is actually not. It smells bad. But I heard it's actually pretty good. Let's see if we can taste it. It's not flowing down. Looks like there's something in there. Maybe we can get it unstuck. Come on. Yeah, it's coming. I can see it moving.
Oh, man. Hops, huh? A brewery. That's what you thought it was.
Well, yeah, we guess.
Oh, man. Really? That's... Okay.
You're a rich guy. I bet you got a microbrewery, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I got that kind of microbrewery. Yeah. So describe it again. What was it like exactly?
Well, it's really hard to describe. It had a challenging mouthfeel.
A challenging mouthfeel. That's great.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, the show's going well, and I can do it locally, for now.
That's great.
Now, many people aren't aware that you're actually from the Temple City Colliders, a long line of business magnates.
That's right.
How much of your business sense was taught to you by your family?
Quite a bit. In fact, one of my earliest memories was my dear old dad showing me how to use my first monocle.
A monocle?
Yeah, and it wasn't a piece of Chi-Com junk either, like Fisherman's Price Baby's first monocle. It was the real deal, 48 karat gold.
I don't think there is a 48 karat gold.
I'm sorry, are you a magnet?
No.
Okay. Most modern magnets underestimate the power of a good, strong, solid, stiff monocle.
It's funny you say that because I noticed, so recently I purchased your Magnate starter kit, and I was surprised when I received it because it was just a top hat and a monocle.
Yes, well, step number 1 is dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
But how does wearing a monocle make a difference?
Well, okay, so you have 2 equally qualified candidates for CEO. One has a monocle, one has no monocle. Which do you choose?
Probably the guy with a monocle.
Why?
I don't know why.
Exactly.
Okay, so wait, what's the step 2?
Well, after the starter kit, we recommend the Next Stop Mogul kit, which consists of a high-back wingback chair.
A wingback chair?
Yes, well, step number 2 is sit like the job you want, not the job you have.
Oh.
So, what flavor is this?
Oh, please don't put your mouth on that. It's not a flavor.
No, I didn't do it.
So, well, I wanted to ask you, being a magnet for so long, I wonder if you might have a unique perspective on institutional sexism, or even if there really is any.
Oh, right, yes. Well, if you look at the 50s, let's say, Despite there being twice as many people in the U.S. today, there are in fact only half the number of saxophone players as there used to be.
No.
But I see this as having been a product of choice and preference, you know, with electric guitars and inexpensive drum kits from China.
No. I'm sorry. I mean like the gender gap.
Oh, yes, the thigh gap. Well, it appears, at least according to the Instagram and the internet, that women really love sharing their bodies. They really, really are into themselves. And you know me. I'll do anything to help support them if that's what they want to do.
No. So, I'm sorry. So what I'm talking about is the gender gap. For example, take the representation in science. It doesn't reflect the representation in the general populace, right? In fact, many have been pointing out how even the scientific laws, they're named solely after men, you know, like Newton's law. And
Nonsense. I knew Fig Newton personally. She was a fine woman and a wonderful baker.
No. I'm referring to Newton's law of
Yes, that you cannot eat just one. She was right then and she's right now. And I think it's actually quite an achievement for her because, you know, that phenomena could have just as easily been called Pringle's Law. And I tell you, it would have been a lot closer had Edard Pringle not went with his ill-fated use of pop. I mean, how do you pop? Doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I'm not actually sure what just happened.
That's right. Have you seen what's on a Pringles can?
I think it's a guy's face.
No monocle. Laws are, by nature, written by those that wear a proper monocle.
That's not true.
Probably.
So, you know, the recent economic downturn, it affected a lot of people. And I was wondering if it affected you personally.
Yes, a bit. Let's see. Well, we eventually had to let go one of our omelet chefs.
One of your omelet chefs? So you had more than one?
Yes. Well, technically it was our omelet chef's omelet chef.
Your omelet chef had their own omelet chef?
Yeah.
That's so meta.
Yes, we have one of those too.
One of what?
Meta chef?
No, that's not a thing.
Okay, but I probably have one. But yes, it was quite a difficult experience for me to see somebody I know personally being de-omeleted.
De-omeleted. Okay. But if they're an omelet chef, couldn't they just have made their own omelet?
Good God, man. Have some decorum. That is a human being you're talking about.
You're speaking of decorum. I was going to show you something that Paul brought over. But now I'm not so sure.
Oh, Paul stopped by, huh? I find him fascinating. What goodies did he bring with him?
Well, he brought some pornographic pictures with him.
Oh, well. I'm into pictures of cougars, short for cougarans. I'm also into cinnamon rolling, which is when a slut of vegans...
He brought these.
Oh, okay. Let's get a closer look at this. Good evening. Wow, nice pair of Rorschachs.
So you know about Rorschachs. I didn't.
Oh, yes. In fact, don't tell the missus, but I have a subscription to Rorschach Hub.
What is that?
My monocle?
That's not a monocle.
I beg your pardon.
I mean, you can't see through it.
It's solid gold. Everything is better in solid gold, Paul.
It doesn't work like that.
Oh, really? And I suppose you've seen the new Avengers in 24K.
You mean 4K?
Sure I do. Sorry, do you mind if I smoke a pipe?
No, be my guest.
Now, you see, the trick to it is first you put some gold shavings in it, and you tamp it down. But you tamp it down with the strength of a nanny.
Huh? That's too complicated, man.
And then you take some more gold shavings and add it to there. And this time you tamp it down with the strength of a trust fund manager. And then finally, you get some more gold shavings. And this time, you tamp it down with the strength of a magnet. Yeah, I can't do that.
No.
No, I only have one strength. It's Paul's strength, and it's too much, man. It's ridiculous. I can't even buy avocados.
Avocados. I've actually heard stories about how strong you are. Must be a burden to bear.
Yeah, sent me to prison once.
Really?
Yeah, manslaughter.
Now, what happened?
Thumb wrestling.
Wow, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, guys like me gotta be careful, no shaking hands, no high fives.
High fives?
Two people.
Oh, yes, I've seen that on the news. Street people.
Yeah, street people. Us commoners. Wow, that pipe. I can smell the pretension.
That's the gold.
So I read in your book.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't realize you don't drive.
No, that's right. I tried it once, but it wasn't for me. I got a ticket my first time out.
Speeding?
No. I was in a diamond lane, and I got a ticket, even though I had a briefcase full of diamonds.
No.
That's what I said.
So what do? You take the subway?
Sub what now?
Subway.
And what's that?
The train, the underground train.
You almost got me there, Paul. Underground train. Toot toot. You have such a great imagination.
Okay. And I also found it fascinating that you were a bit rebellious in your youth.
Indeed.
You had some run-ins with the law. You even spent the night in jail once, but you didn't elaborate why.
Well, those were a different time. This was a long time ago. When taking a selfie in public meant something else entirely. But I tried very hard to stay out of trouble back then. The law wasn't very fair. In fact, every time I did end up in court, I would always demand a trial by combat and fight the jury.
Even when it worked that way, I don't think it worked that way.
Well, then we agree.
Sounds a little like Game of Thrones.
Game of what now?
Game of Thrones?
What of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
What of what? It sounds familiar.
Stannis Baratheon.
Yeah.
Is the one true
Batman. It's true, I am tough. Very tough.
I'm sure.
Growing up, my idol was one of the toughest guys, a Captain Ahab, destroyer of whales.
Ahab? But Ahab died. The whale lived.
The public education system at work.
What? Ahab died at the end.
No, he didn't. In fact, he went on to kill hundreds of even bigger whales.
What? No. Ahab harpooned the whale, and the rope attached to the harpoon wrapped around Ahab's neck and dragged him down to his death.
Oh, I see. I see. You can't read.
Are you serious?
Paul, he was just getting started. You're right. He did harpoon the whale, and that whale instantly knew he had no chance. So he tried escaping. But before he could escape and disappear into the depths forever, Ahab was just barely able to grab the rope with his neck.
He grabbed the rope with his neck. No. Okay. So when you say long ago, referencing your youth, I know you've always been into life extension and longevity, and you have some startups related to those, right?
That's right. My whole life I've been interested in health and life extension, eating right.
And you're pretty old. I don't mean to be rude, but you just don't look your age. You actually have great-grandchildren.
Well, I suppose some of them are all right, yeah. I've been around, let's just say that. I'm old enough to remember the world's first roller coaster, the large intestine, over at Flag.
Flag?
Such fond memories. Getting my first Hogan's Alley, reading about the Yellow Kid.
How old are you?
You should never ask a woman about her age, Paul.
I know. So, okay. So, What would you say is the biggest cause of aging or decline? In society, the society isn't addressing enough, in your opinion.
Gingivitis.
Gingivitis?
That's right, Paul. The OG. Smack mouth. Bile smile. Cooch rot.
Oh, come on. That's not a thing.
Look, you've got to take care of your gums, Paul. And teeth, too. It's like they say, gums are the windows to the soul.
I've never heard that.
That's probably true. The moment I started using a solid gold toothbrush, took 150 years right off.
150 years?
Yeah. Speaking of 150 years, I filed my first patent 150 years ago this week.
Really? And what was that for?
It was called a chokeaway, a choker's privacy cape.
A choker, so like a woman's jewelry?
No. Well, a woman could buy one, sure. Their money's green, too.
Really?
See, back then it was considered rude and uncouth to choke in public. You know, with the noise and the flailing and all. So, for example, in a restaurant, if one started choking, they could flip their chokeaway privacy cape up and over.
But hold on. I mean, shouldn't people notice them choking and help?
Not back then, Paul. We were a more proud people, classier. In fact, we wouldn't want to burden others with our problems. What you probably don't understand is back then, people choked all the time. See, chewing was still quite new. People were very, very used to choking, and they knew what to do. The real problem was the shame and embarrassment that public choking brought upon one's family. The choker's privacy cape solved that for a civil society. Today, you know, it's shameful what you people do with your perverted spectacle of public thrusting. I mean, you practically have to change your name afterwards.
So, what are some other ideas that you've backed with your venture capital?
Successful ones?
Any. Some interesting ones.
Well, let's see. Have you heard of soundtracks?
Yeah, of course.
How about soundtracks for manuals?
Like instruction manuals?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. How about cryogenics?
Sure. Yeah, is that one of your startups?
Yeah.
Now, do you preserve the whole body or the head only?
Actually, it's the body only.
No head?
No head.
Oh, so it's like organ harvesting then?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you have any startups, that actually have a business plan? They're making a profit right now?
Sure. We have remote submarines for rent. You can use to explore the ocean in VR.
Oh, really? So from my house, I can rent a submarine that's where?
In the ocean.
Okay. And I can wear a VR headset and maneuver it around?
Yeah, it's essentially like remote scuba diving. It's a small drone.
That actually sounds pretty cool. What's the range?
Well, anywhere. They float on the surface when they need to recharge, and then they become available to users.
Now, I thought that communicating through water was difficult.
Yes, it was, but Paul helped us with that problem.
Really?
He showed us how to leverage quantum entanglement.
Wow, that sounds really cool. I'd like to give that a try.
Let's see. Smart walls are one of our hot products right now.
Smart wall? Is this like a large TVs or projector or something?
No. These are a much lower tech offering. Essentially, we saw that there was a lot of potential in the interior walls of a home and some exterior walls. See, there's a lot of space in there that's not used.
Oh, like between studs?
Precisely. So we sell modular units that fit between common stud layouts. And you could even span multiple ones. You just need a larger surface cover. You could leave the studs intact, and it's very modern, very discreet. Many times the end product looks like just a wall, or maybe how a wall in a spaceship might look,
And what are they for? What do the units do?
Well, the base units are just storage, and they have snap-in receptacles and spots to add in sensors.
Like we have termite sensors, presence sensors, speakers, Wi-Fi repeaters, monitors for home security, and so on.
What's beyond the base models?
Oh, we have lots of optional setups. One popular setup is a makeup station. So it can be any height, but let's say, for example, you put it at standing height. And from the outside, it might look like a painting, right?
Oh.
But when you open it up, the backs of the painting or the door would be lighted mirrors. And using the space inside your wall, you'd have tiered storage for makeup. And,
okay, for ladies. Yeah. Or are you working on a secret operation to get guys into makeup?
Well, no. In that scenario, a lad and a lady would just share a makeup mod. See, I think you're failing to understand the basic concept here, Paul. See, both lads and ladies have shoulders simultaneously. That's a fancy business term for at the same time. It wouldn't increase our bottom line if men wore makeup, unless we sold makeup.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's lighted. You can add in all sorts of modular units to enhance it. Pull-out mirrors, magnified mirrors, drawers. And the nice thing is that these things are mounted on a wall, like a painting. So it's not like you have to lean over a bathroom counter to be as close as you need to be.
Oh, yeah.
And that model can span up to 2 bays, which is about 30 inches.
Now, do you have to remove the stud?
No, they are 2 separate units, but the door, the painting in this case, spans both units.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's clever.
We have a version that allows for safe firearm storage. There's one that has a fingerprint reader, an electronic combination, a mechanical combination. One has an iris scanner.
Oh, now you're talking. That sounds really cool. But how do they get their power?
Well, we sell rechargeable power supplies that fit up above it in the wall, and they'll last quite a while. But we prefer people to install it in a stud bay that has a receptacle already in it, and install, say, a 5-foot version or a floor-to-ceiling model.
So you need to hire an electrician.
It depends. In many cases, no. It's very easy to hook up and comes with instructions. So if you're handy, you can do it yourself, but, turn the power off and all.
Right.
But if you want to install it in a bay where the electrical outlet is in the next bay over, we do sell a kit for that, but it's a much cleaner look if you just call out an electrician to do it.
Okay.
Let's see. Electronic storage and charging, like mobile phones. Coffee maker, that's a popular one. Robotic vacuum holder, so you can just keep your robotic vacuum in the wall out of the way.
Oh, nice.
Emergency water storage.
In the walls? So store emergency water in the walls.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea, actually. I store ours underneath our house, because it's cool and dry down there. But a lot of people don't have raised foundations.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and we have ironing board dropout too, but a bunch of things. But all these things look really modern, right? That's the hook. Very, very discreet. It looks like something you might find in a spaceship.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Man, that sounds really cool. It's so odd that walls are underutilized. I mean, all we put in them are light switches and outlets? That doesn't seem very advanced.
Right. We have one that can go on a wall or a ceiling, and a projector pops out for a TV.
Nice.
We've seen people put, their set-top boxes, game consoles, on the wall with a TV above it.
So it sounds like it's for, the minimalists out there.
Yeah, it's a step in that direction. Getting rid of clutter, being able to get rid of, say, a piece of furniture or two.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
And we have a very, very popular smart light product.
Like voice-activated light bulbs?
More than that. So your typical can light, right, in your ceiling, like a recessed can light?
Yeah.
Our replacement can lights are a light, of course, but also a smart home speaker, a motion alarm, a baby monitor, Wi-Fi repeater.
Wow.
Network smoke detector. Actually, all types of gases, carbon monoxide, natural gas, a music system, home surveillance.
Dang.
Thermostat, fire suppression.
Wow, really?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of space up there, and it has power already. There's usually quite a few of them. Oh, it can even listen for pipe leaks and shut off your main water supply coming into your house.
That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you already have to wire up lights. So you might as well make the most out of that, instead of having to add a bunch of add-on devices everywhere.
Right.
But lights don't always have power. You have to switch them on.
Well, it really depends on how it was originally wired. But you can leave the power on and control everything else in the lights instead by, your voice or your device. We have little smart stick-on switches you can put on a wall if you want a physical switch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense, loading up those lights in the ceiling with all that tech. But how does the fire suppression work?
Well, like I said, the units have cameras and smart vision, so it can sense fires very quickly by heat and sound signatures. And the lights have essentially a little replaceable fire extinguisher in them. They're optional, of course. In fact, most features are optional.
So these replace your thermostat, your fire extinguisher, smoke alarm, gas alarm, your smart speakers, right? Music system, security system, like a Wi-Fi repeater, your network.
Yeah, and we have complementary receptacles. So down low, you can get our smart receptacles that enhance our smart lights.
How do they enhance the lights?
Well, for example, if the thermostat's up high, it has to do some guesstimation to get an accurate temperature. But the receptacles can assist, essentially allowing a more accurate measurement of the room space and temperature in any room.
Oh, okay.
These things complement each other, and so you just have more accurate motion sensing for pets, different angles for cameras, more carbon monoxide sensors, more accurate presence detection, and they're all networked together.
What about privacy, though? That's like a big thing nowadays.
Well, we do have privacy controls, but for the most part, for people, this comes down to audio and video. But we made all of these hardware components. So let's say somebody doesn't want video, they can physically unplug the camera.
Oh.
And it doesn't degrade the service that much either, because so for many people, let's say they don't want the camera installed, but they usually don't mind, say, a thermal camera.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's like a heat signature. It's like yellow and red and green,
Right?
And has like
a person can make out a vague shape, but our thermal camera knows if it's a person. So if the family is at work or at school and there's a large thermal signature, we can still send a notification or sound an alarm.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I like that.
And again, this fits in with our smart walls. The goal is to get all the clutter and crap off of the counter and our furniture that's spread out all over and just make it disappear, but still be there.
Yeah, I like that concept. Yeah, and your companies, the companies themselves, they're doing really well, right?
Yes, quite well.
How do you get such great work out of your workforce?
Well, I have a rule. Pay well and hire people that hate each other.
What?
Pay people really well.
Yeah, of course, I got that. But you hire people that hate each other?
Oh, yes, that's paramount. See, you pay them so much that they don't want to lose their job. But if they hate everybody they work with, they get all their work done really quick.
Are you kidding? That's hilarious.
Saves on electricity and waste, less bathroom use, absolutely no birthday cake time or paper plate waste. It adds up.
I bet.
It's a lean staff, People will give me ideas and methods on how to automate somebody else's job away. The person they don't like, for example. Or sometimes an employee will figure out how to do someone else's job, someone they don't like, and do it at no additional cost.
So they turn on each other.
Employees that like each other are actually 2 to 3 times more expensive, even though you're paying them less. A lot of employers don't realize this, but it's true. It's known as the Linderman effect.
I would want to work around people I like.
Do you like them more than your family?
No.
Then wouldn't you rather be there less time than you need to be?
Yeah.
So I provide the incentive for that. Show up, do a great job, get paid well, and get out. Help Timmy with his homework. Watch a movie with the family,
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Look, on your deathbed, are you going to say,
Gee, I wish I would have done one more spreadsheet or made another yard of fiberglass. Or are you going to say, I wish I would have saw one more movie with my family or another picnic day at the beach?
Yeah, you're right.
All this work, all these titles, it's all artificial. In the end, it's all meaningless. It's actually quite sad that we put so much importance on such meaningless stuff.
Now, we talked about how you're from old money on your father's side, but now your mother's side had some entrepreneurs too, right?
Yes, well, there was my Uncle Thurston. His wealth came from Big Moving Castle.
Fascinating.
And a bit sad, actually. He went missing later in life. We never heard from him again.
Oh, I'm sorry for bringing that up.
That's okay. It was a while back. I think I need to fire one up for old Thurston.
You're going to smoke 2 pipes at the same time?
Oh, sure. It's called Bunt Caking. Don't worry. There's enough Paul to go around.
Now, you've been married for like 70 years, right? Is that right?
That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we've lasted quite a while. And it wasn't always easy, especially in the early days. She's an anti-vaxxer, you know.
She doesn't believe in vaccines?
No, she won't vacuum.
So, was she your first girlfriend?
No, but I didn't have very many lady friends. I'd tell you, I'd hate to have to date today. It's disgustingly casual. In my day, you always wore a tuxedo when courting a girl. And, you open doors for them, especially car doors.
Such a gentleman.
Well, you have to, Paul. Car doors are much too complex for women.
So, a tuxedo, right. I remember when you came to Scout's 3rd birthday party. She really loved having you there, but the tuxedo was kind of overdoing it.
The invitation said formal.
No, it didn't.
It had a picture of a guy with a tuxedo on it.
No, there wasn't. Oh, the theme of the party was penguins. So yeah, I think there was a penguin on it.
He did have beady eyes. Well, anyway, yeah, when I was younger, a tuxedo was proper for courting. And I think it still should be. I mean, you people have some self-respect, can't you even put on a belt once in a while?
I would, but why do they have to buckle in the back? But that tuxedo you wore, that was pretty interesting. The cummerbund, that was pretty neat.
Oh, the cumberpack, yeah. Well, what you refer to as the cummerbund actually began as a formal fanny pack. Yeah, many people don't realize how common fanny packs were across history.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. But anyway, I did date a bit before my wife. I remember this one girl, she was Oriental.
Asian.
No, she was Oriental.
We say Asia.
It's Orient when you're rich. She was a very provocative dresser for the time, quite easy on the eyes, very superstitious. She and her girlfriends would, I remember they'd always be running around town looking for some antiques, a silver crystal or some tchotchke. Yeah, they were always getting in trouble, Sometimes I just happened to be there, wrong place, the wrong time, and get pulled into it. Had to step in and help. Had some close calls. I even had to start wearing a mask to protect my family's reputation around town.
Wow. So what happened with her?
Well, the relationship seemed pretty toxic for me, but her and my brother got along really well. They eventually got married, and they've worked well. They're good for each other.
Wow. I was telling my wife about how you take everything in stride. I don't think I've ever seen you get mad. Ever.
Yeah, well, I don't get mad. I get Steven.
You get Steve? Who's Steven?
Well, he's the guy I pay to exact a commensurate toll on those whom I might otherwise be mad at.
You get even.
I don't know an Evan. And to be frank, I don't know if I'd trust somebody whose name began with a vowel.
You're set in your ways.
My good lad, I think, and I know, and I think you're wrong.
There are plenty of fine people whose name starts with a vowel.
Name one. Look, I just mean you can't see everything in black and white, right? There are many shades of gray, Paul.
No. I know. There's also white.
I said white.
Of course. Did you mention black? There you go.
Oh, hey, I almost forgot. I got you a birthday gift.
It's not my birthday.
Well, it's coming up, and I probably
Well,
won't
right. But we do have plans to go see the Tango and Cash remake.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tom Cruise and Dwayne Johnson. That's going to be so awesome.
Indeed.
But I wanted to give this to you now. Okay? Now, don't touch it. I want you to guess what's in it first.
Oh, okay. Nice. Gold. I love it.
But this is the only box I had, so don't let the size of the box influence your guess.
Okay.
So what do you think it is?
A yacht.
A yacht.
Thank you. Oh my God, that is so thoughtful of you.
No. It's not a yacht. How could it be a yacht? Guess again.
Okay. A mansion.
Mansion? How could a yacht or a mansion fit inside this box?
Well, you said don't let the size of the box influence my guess.
So it fits inside the box. Okay, so it's as big as the box or smaller.
Oh, okay. So you're saying my guess should take into account specifically the size of the box. Okay.
So now that we're on the same page, go ahead and take a guess.
Keys to a new yacht.
No, man. The entire gift is inside the box. The entire gift.
Okay. I got it now. Okay. A diamond exactly the size and shape of the interior of that box.
What?
Well, now I'm thinking you said don't let the size of the box influence my guess to throw me off. And you know how much I like diamonds. QED, a diamond exactly the size of that box.
Just open it.
You know, the stuffing's not gold. Do you still have the receipt?
It's fine.
Good for one free dinner and movie. Oh, I see. This is a clue to my real gift.
Oh my God. You're so hard to shop for.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just saying the evening is on me, right? And we're not just going to go to the food court.
Food court? Wow, food laws come a long way.
I mean, we'll go to Olive Garden and then we'll go see Tango and Cash.
Oh, okay. That's taking place.
You know I'm not rich.
Of course. I didn't say you were. Or, are you? Okay. You'd like some rubies.
No. I wanted to get you something because you do a lot for me and I appreciate it.
Yes, I know. And you didn't have to. It must have been very expensive. I mean, those are both A-listers, right? So it must have cost millions to make.
But it's just a couple of tickets. I mean, lots of people can afford that.
Oh, okay. So they are letting others see it as well.
The movie? Yeah, of course.
Well, that should bring the cost way down.
Well, I mean, movie tickets are $15.
How can that be? Some movies cost a tiny fraction of what other movies cost to make. How can they all be priced the same?
That's actually a good question. I don't know. But I was thinking that we should invite Paul, to come with us. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but he's been really sick.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think he'll be better before the weekend. Yeah, he's pretty sick.
Yeah, I wonder what got him so sick.
I heard he accidentally wore his underwear backwards.
Or maybe it's gingivitis.
Oh, God, no. I saw him. He can still walk.
Maybe I don't know what gingivitis is.
But I saw him. He looks good. He's a really great Paul.
Yeah, he is. Guy's such a kind person, He's so polite. I don't think I've ever met anybody as humble as him.
Well, I don't know about that.
He is. I don't think I've met anybody as humble as him.
I think you have.
What, you?
Oh, yeah. Trust me. Big time.
You're more humble than Paul.
To be perfectly honest, definitely. And as such good people do, I often wonder how much better the world would be if more people were humble. In fact, I bet more people would be humble
if they gave out awards for it each year. Really, it's hard for most people to be as humble as I am, so humble, if they don't think anyone's going to know how humble they are.
But would it...
I mean, really, where's the incentive? It's like the guy that just gave that extremely large donation to General Hospital.
Oh, yeah, that was very generous.
Yes, that was very generous, wasn't it? I happen to know who it was.
Yeah? Who was it?
I can't say. They are very, very humble. Probably the most humble. And he doesn't want his name to be revealed.
Ah, that's really great.
But I am very close to this person.
Okay.
I mean, very close. You know, I don't want to say who, but it was me.
Yeah, I kind of got that. Well, I guess I'll just bring this up. You are very, very rich.
Thank you.
And as you know, I took part in Occupy Wall Street a while back.
Yes.
And not that I want to put you on the spot, but I want to get something off my chest.
Oh, supernumeraries. Yeah, I got a great nipple guy. I'll set you up.
What?
You have some extra nipples you want to get off your chest?
No. You have a nipple guy?
Oh, yeah, the best nipplery in town.
So you had like a third nipple?
Good God, no. I'm not a freak. No, I had mine enhanced.
Enhanced?
Well, yes. Here, take a look.
Whoa. Oh, what the heck? Is that a pentagon?
Hexagon, actually.
Why was it so shiny?
It's tattooed with gold. You can get any shape and color you want. Well, almost any.
Man, that was like the coolest nipple I've ever seen. A gold hexagon. That was like really cool.
Yeah, and they're Bluetooth compatible.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. I just sent a call to voicemail. You can embed controls in your nipples.
To control your phone.
Calls, music, lights, TV. Women can even use it to track feeding cycles and quantities if they are breastfeeding. Also track health issues, baseline stuff, monitor health.
Wow, that is amazing. Is that one of your startups?
No, I wish. Big Nipple already has a squeeze on that market.
Anyway, no. What I was going to state was my disdain for the ultra wealthy. I mean, people like you, really.
Well, we're just people too, Paul. I mean, that's not really fair. I put my pants on just like anybody else that has a pants applicator robot. I'm just kidding, but it's true.
Well, I just mean, personally, I think we should tax the rich more.
Well, I know one of the things that's being thrown about right now is raising the tax rate to 70%.
Well, for only the portion of income above 10 million. Right? For income below 10 million, it's taxed at a lower rate.
Yeah, I get that. But what people like me see is that will kill progress, and progress is the single most important ingredient for what everyone wants to achieve.
I'm not following. So about progress, how does only taxing the portion of income above 10 million affect progress?
Well, it flattens the risk equation.
Okay, and what? So can you give me an example?
If when Elon Musk sold PayPal, if he was taxed at 70%, would we have SpaceX and Tesla today? Right? He used most of that money to start those.
That's a good question.
See, the free market's most important product is the winning product and the next winning product. So the best ideas of them all continually eating each other.
Couldn't Elon... So let's say he was taxed at 70%. Why couldn't he have just taken out a loan?
He could, but it would have been a different risk equation, right? So look, let's quantify Elon's money and call it 10, right, as a concept, something easy to visualize.
Okay.
So Elon is a smart guy. He has some crazy ideas, especially for someone that is not even in the field of cars or in the field of space, or in a new field of electric cars or self-driving. But he has 10 money. And he says, look, I can risk 7 of this 10, and even if it fails, I still have 3, right? And that 3 will still be a great life for me and my family. So he rolls the dice.
Okay.
And let's not forget, when he rolls that dice, that 7, even if he fails, goes into thousands of people's pockets as wages, right? And buying materials.
Right. I get that.
So now let's look at a loan. So Elon was taxed at 70%, and now instead of having 10, he has 3 from the sale of PayPal. And so now he goes to take out a loan of 7 for his ideas. Now these are crazy ideas, right? Of somebody with no record in those industries. So right off the bat, it's a question if a bank would even give him a loan.
Oh, right.
But let's say they do. And of course, Elon is not 100% certain he can make these ideas happen. If he doesn't, which is more likely than not, what happens? Does he have to pay back the 7? Does he have to give up his 3 and lose his house and his car and be ruined?
Okay. I see. So, yeah, that's totally different risk. You're right.
There is no incentive to take risks.
But what about the government backing him, right? That's possible.
Sure, but why would they have, right? He was just a programmer that let you pay for junk on eBay, right? Essentially. You know, that has nothing to do with rockets. It has nothing to do with cars. The government would not have picked Elon to their detriment. You know, look at NASA. Government-run agencies are not what you call movers and shakers. SpaceX can transform its products and mission much, much faster than NASA. You know, and governments have always been horrible at picking winners, you know. I mean, just look at Solandra.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. But, I mean, there's just so much good stuff that exists, and people can't partake in it equally.
Well, that's a separate problem, right? That's a timing problem. See, every generation sees nothing but progress behind them. You know, life gets better and better, though, of course, at different rates around the world, but everything gets better.
Okay.
I mean, look, 120 years ago, someone said we should close the patent office because there was nothing left to invent.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So if people thought 120 years ago was peak progress and they went to socialism then, we would likely not have Apple and Microsoft and Tesla and IBM because the riskable wealth would not have existed. But think about how much computers have helped people, right? In medical, in driving, testing, and communications. I mean, look, just being able to call for help anywhere on the planet is a huge improvement.
Right. That's true. You know, car safety, the ability to develop new materials, safer materials, larger, more medical studies. Yeah, you know, and learning, spreading knowledge.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So everybody thinks that their time is the best time and that it's time to divvy up what is also the source of progress, you know, which they don't realize. The more socialism you add, the less progress you realize. And what progress is lost? Fusion? Cures? Who knows? Let's put it this way. If your country never needed fire departments, would you still have cancer?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird way to look at it. I mean, that's like a double-edged sword, really. I mean, you probably have more fires, that's for sure.
Well, it is a double-edged sword. You know, and to your other point, without city fire departments, it could be that building would have just improved faster, right? Perhaps compressed earth blocks instead of wood, more cement or steel.
Yeah.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Just look at recycling, right? Many hands make light work.
Right.
But how much free time does the average person have in a day, right? Minus sleep, minus work, minus kids, minus food, all that.
Yeah, not much.
So your guy's solution was, hey, let's have every single person sort every piece of trash. Yeah. Well, that's when you say it that way, that sounds pretty stupid, I guess. So you got a brain surgeon who comes home from a 16-hour day, and before he goes to bed, he takes out the trash, and somebody pops up from behind the green bin and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hey, crap for brains. A pizza box?" Right. What you're doing is diluting the problem. And if the problem is diluted, the problem will persist longer because it appears as not as big of a problem as it actually is. If you dilute all your problems, then every second of the day is taken up with diluting, right? But why do you choose the things you do? There's that too. So maybe everybody should learn brain surgery so a brain surgeon only has to work 3 hours a day. And then he'd have the time to come home and separate his recyclables better. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. If everyone doesn't separate their recycling, then the problem appears in its true form, a large problem. And then the players in that industry then use their wealth and invest in solutions. Perhaps optical recognition, machine learning, artificial intelligence, maybe those would have emanated from the trash industry. For all we know, gaming or virtual reality companies could have been spin-offs of recycling companies, right? Because they would have made the tech, and they would have sold it or licensed it, sort of like NASA. Many industries have spawned from NASA having worked on or solving unrelated problems. Right, yeah. Diluting problems across millions of people's simple, non-work-related manual labor is literally the worst solution one can implement. It's counterproductive, but for some reason it makes people feel good about themselves. Businesses are just systems designed for creating solutions. Not only literal solutions, but then consolidating that into the job time of individuals. And therefore, by definition, not eating into their free time, like separating recyclables does, which you're doing for free. Right. Yeah, we're working for free doing that. Yeah, you guys are suckers. Imagine if every business offloaded work to the entire population every day for free, right? No, we don't need to invent rakes, right? Everybody just pick up a few leaves every day. We don't need gardeners. No. We all have an extra 3 hours a week. Grocery stores? Can't each of us simply grow food? Right? Clothing stores? No thanks. A needle and thread is so easy to learn. Cars? I got shoes. Imagine if everybody walked to work, right? Less work would be accomplished, and therefore less progress. Never, ever, ever pitch in to do what a company should do. Companies find solutions. Groups and individuals then buy those solutions. Without that relationship, the individual would never have free time. Right? Businesses are the only entities that can create time. That's an interesting way to look at it, man. It's true. With businesses, you can live a life impossible to live without them, right? Because there wouldn't be enough time to do everything manually. It could be said businesses allow you to live 3 lives instead of just one. Oh, man, that's so okay. I can see that it's beneficial to allow smart people to allow them to have wealth and to take risks. But just because somebody has wealth doesn't mean they're as smart as Elon. No, but there is venture capital, right? Rich people don't have their money in savings accounts simply because it's not insured and there's no real interest. So most of it is in new ventures, say of company ABC. ABC then uses that money to hire or keep employees, right? Or to open a new location or to make new types of products. And even if it was in savings accounts, banks do use that money for loans and mortgages. I mean, how about Jeff Bezos? I mean, is it fair for him to hoard $100 billion? He isn't. All that money is either in stocks, so being used by hundreds of other companies, or in new ventures or venture assets, right? Like rockets and AI. I mean, Jeff is out there building rockets, right? Yeah, I know. So that means a bunch of rocket scientists are now employed, right? Office workers, staff, cleaning crew, lawyers.
Okay, right. That's his net worth. That doesn't mean he has $100 billion in cash.
Right, and that's what most people don't understand, right? The vast majority of Jeff's net worth is living in other people's pockets or on other companies' books and strengthening them, and then therefore their employees' futures, right, and retirement and what have you.
And how's that beneficial?
Well, let's say Jeff invests $1 billion in stock, right? Any stock, it doesn't really matter. Let's just say Microsoft. By doing that, Jeff's net worth doesn't drop.
Oh, right. That's actually a really good point. Investments don't diminish your net worth.
Right. And at the same time, Microsoft stock rises a little, right? And then so does the value of investment accounts like retirement accounts for millions and millions of people. So there's not a one-to-one relationship of value here. If Jeff inputs $1 billion, that is wealth redistribution. At that point in time, someone else, let's say your neighbor, she sells her Microsoft stock she bought 5 years ago. She made money in part because Jeff invested in Microsoft today.
Okay, yeah. And so she had to sell it to somebody else. So it's possible Jeff's net worth remained the same, but my neighbor made money.
Exactly. People forget that at any point in time for a stock, there are people that have bought it 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and yesterday, right? It's not some flat guy with a monocle making all the money argument.
Right. This is a good description.
Yeah, and I'm not an expert in it, but that's my understanding. And I might be butchering some of the parts, but
it's interesting. I don't think people see stocks as wealth redistribution.
Yeah, and it's essentially the same thing as Social Security, in an IRA. It's just you're in control of the timing, right? With Social Security, it's like a long-term investment. You're forced to keep the money in this one thing for a long time, and you hope it builds.
Yeah, okay, right.
I think we're on the same page now. Rich people don't just have stacks of gold gathering dust.
Well, what you're saying is painting it in a different light. I'd say maybe a less negative light.
When Amazon went public, you could have probably spent $50 on stock, and today you could sell for $60,000.
Oh, jeez.
Did you have $50 in 1997?
Yeah, but a lot of regular folks can't get into investments early.
Well, they could have on Amazon's IPO, and it's even easier today with Robinhood and Ally. And I'd say, well, look at the new Regulation A+ companies.
Regulation A+.
Yeah, I think it was the previous administration. Don't hold me to any of this. I'm not an expert. But Regulation A is old, and it's what allows startups to raise funding before going public. This is how, say, Peter Thiel invested in Facebook before Facebook was public.
Okay, yeah.
So A+ made it easier for small companies to do the same thing, but directly to the public. So now many smaller companies that couldn't afford to go public or didn't have any rich friends, they can make a pitch to the public, and the public can get in early.
Okay, so this would be like Kickstarter.
It is in the sense of ease, but this has equity, right? So like Kickstarter, nothing might actually come of it. It might fail, but unlike Kickstarter, instead of just getting the eventually created product, you're receiving some equity, right? Potential equity if the company ever goes public, or I'm not sure, maybe if it's bought, I don't know.
I see. I recently heard that startups are declining.
Maybe, but that's not the whole picture. Startups are always a bigger thing when new technology is taking grasp, right? And recently that was computers. But once the dust settles, the winners expand. So while Tesla is a startup, you also have Apple getting into autonomous cars, right? Amazon was once a startup, but look, it's getting into everything, right? Space and delivery.
So you're saying that modern companies remain entrepreneurial and grow wider.
Yeah, exactly. And also, look, you have small companies using Kickstarter to expand the product line itself. So not a new company, but a wider variety of products for the same company. So I think people saying that are just noticing a new type of propagation, but expecting it to look like the old type of propagation.
Yeah, they also brought up worker mobility.
Yeah, same issue. Worker mobility, in my opinion, is a negative sign. It means opportunity is locked to geography, but I don't think that's the case anymore. The truth is a lot more people are able to work from home, and tech allows them to. I mean, look, some kid out in the middle of nowhere in the Philippines made millions of dollars programming a game for the App Store, like in a week. So non-spatial opportunity is way up, and that doesn't necessarily translate into new physical companies or the necessity to move to where the work is, right? The work is everywhere.
Yeah, right.
You look at YouTube or Amazon fulfillment, making money where you're at has never been easier. Never. Besides your home improvement videos, if I remember correctly, you do that jewelry thing too, right? And you have
my magazine?
Yeah, right. Prison Monthly.
Yeah, it's self-published. It's Prison Monthly.
How's that going?
Great. Yeah, I realize that part of what fuels recidivism is that people that were in prison so long, they kind of miss the inside. The structure, the bonds, the very fundamental form of existence. Out in this high-tech crazy world that requires like everything from you, it can be daunting, So Prison Monthly gives ex-convicts on the outside a small tether with, what used to be 100% of their life. Getting out cold turkey for many is fine. But for some, especially if they've been there a long time, it helps them. It eases them from one lifestyle to the next.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah, and now we're going to have Prison Quarterly, which is more fashion and technology. You can keep up on the new tattoos, the bedding, the uniforms. In fact, in the first issue, we're going to have a great expose on shivs, how they've evolved over time, where they're going. The feature is titled Shiv, Then, Now, Beyond.
Wow, that's wonderful, helping people.
But earlier you talked about more time with the family, and that reminded me of your new startup, the kitchen.
Oh yes, kitchens.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I tried explaining it to friends the other day, but I just didn't give it. I probably butchered it. You know what I mean? Like, can you walk me through this again? Yeah, I love this.
Sure. As you know, I believe we all need more time with family, and that means many things. But one thing it means is reevaluating our time at the day level. One huge thing that takes up time every day is food. Are we really going to pick up ingredients twice a week and take the time to create 3 meals every single day of our lives? Right? That's 80,000 meals for each person, right?
Jeez.
For each person.
Never heard it like that. But you can go out and order in.
Sure, yes, but that gets expensive, right? I mean, the average person can't do that for even a third of their meals a week, right? Let alone a family.
Okay, yeah.
So, and, well, in the past, this might have been okay, right? When there was no internet, when there were not many places to go for fun, there weren't many things to do. I mean, how many movies were released in the world 70 years ago? 30? Now how many are there? 1,000?
At least.
And you have thousands of games to play. 70 years ago, you maybe had 30 that were realistically available to play whenever you wanted. In fact, back then, frequent cooking might have been a quite enjoyed and welcomed activity for many people, to pass time or as a skill to hone. I mean, eating, especially well, is important. Nobody's saying it isn't.
Right, yeah.
So now there being so much to do, thinking of meals, buying ingredients, preparing, eating, doing dishes, all of that, it is much easier to see now how much time that takes from us.
But some people like cooking.
Yeah, and you still could, right? But you just don't have to do it 3 times a day, right? Or 28 times a week or 1,200 times a year.
Well, when you put it that way, yeah.
Yeah, well, and don't get me wrong, cooking can be a great activity, right? To bond with somebody, a spouse, with children, what have you. But things are most enjoyed in a stress-free environment. And to some degree, it meant freeing up the massive time we spent around the food preparation life cycle.
I can see that. You enjoy something more if it's optional, right? You're not required or expected. Also, I do think people love eating together, like at a table in their home, but not necessarily cooking, right? I mean, in some ways, the stress of planning and shopping and cooking then lowers the enjoyability of eating together. You know what I mean? Even at a table. Because so much more time went into a single meal than the time spent eating it.
Exactly. Now, let's take a look at the other end of the equation, restaurants. Most people who have the idea to start a restaurant love to cook. You don't start a restaurant if you're somebody who likes to repair a roof or pay a trash collector.
No, of course not.
But starting a restaurant, every restaurant means maintenance, right? Building, equipment, managing staff, painting, cleaning, tons of things that are not within the original desire to open a restaurant.
Right.
And that's for every restaurant, right? All of them. And then, you have things like you have to pay more if you want your restaurant in a good location and so on and so forth. So the idea was, let's turn this upside down and design something that targets the true inspiration for most parties.
And what does that entail?
Well, families would enjoy eating together more if they were less stressed, and that means the ability to eliminate the majority of time spent on the majority of their 1,000 meals a year. And chefs don't want to worry about a leaky roof, right, or broken stove, or finding a reliable supplier or staff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we have, usually close to vertical farms, huge buildings filled with 40 to 60 individual kitchens.
Whoa.
Now, in these buildings, we'll have several Italian kitchens, several Chinese kitchens, American and French, Vietnamese, everything, each with their own menu. Our company provides and maintains the kitchen, buys and stores the ingredients, and maintains the building, all of it.
And they can focus on their menu.
Right, and our system is smart, right? So as they're cooking, our system sees their orders coming in and can predict, say, Kitchen 37 will need more chicken and broccoli soon, right? And a little bit later, those are delivered to Kitchen 37 using little autonomous carts.
Wow.
Each kitchen has a local refrigerator to store, its working ingredients.
Okay.
Essentially, the kitchen, which is equivalent to a restaurant, only has to worry about cooking great food.
And where do you eat it at? Are there tables?
At home. Ideally around a table, right, with less stress individuals sharing about their day or playing a game.
That sounds really great. So this is delivery only.
Yeah, but it gets better. So right now over here, if you have a family of 4, or let's say an office meeting of 8, and you don't want to spend time cooking, you'd order from one restaurant, right? That's okay, but we can go one step further.
Well, you're not going to cook in an office.
No, and what we do, we have an app. So imagine this, okay? Let's take an office scenario.
Okay.
You have 10 people who need to stay late for a meeting, right? It's 4 p.m. and the meeting's at 6.
All right.
The coordinator will invite their meeting's contacts to a meal scheduled to be delivered at 6:15, right? If the contact is already our member, they'll get an alert that says you've been invited to a meal at 6:15, and a few buttons. Use favorite meal, select a meal, opt out, or remind me later. And you can set up defaults, right? Like your favorite meal might be orange chicken. Or maybe you have 5 favorite meals, right? And you set it to random.
Oh, wow. Okay. That would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tried to do that here with our services, that would be expensive. You know what I mean? If everybody chose from a different restaurant.
Exactly. So now we have happier people because everybody's getting what they want instead of selecting from a single restaurant, right? And so let's say you need to pick up milk on your way home. Well, you can add that milk to your meal and just select charge that to your account, but it's delivered with everything else.
Oh, cool.
Right? And all that food is sealed in a bag with an order-specific sticker, right? So you know the driver didn't lick your food or anything.
Oh, nice.
So sometimes what we see, not even a meal, but let's say your office closes at 5, right? And there's 40 people there. Well, if somebody scheduled a meal set for 5 p.m. and chose the option for self-pay, meaning each person has to pay, those 40 people can avoid driving to the store, or if they use to set it individually, avoid large delivery fee.
Oh, wow. So there's a delivery fee, but it would be less because I might only need a gallon of milk, but it's coming with a large order from everybody else.
Exactly. Some companies even offer as a perk to pay for the delivery fee. So a consolidated once per day delivery for the office. And people can get their shopping done by the end of the day.
That sounds, you're saving them even more time and money.
The app is key, because it's so easy to use. It has defaults you can set, so you aren't required to go hunting around for a meal every single time. It allows you to get what you're in the mood for. And families love it too, much for the same reasons.
I bet. I can see how it would shift the focus away from the time spent preparing for dinner to time spent at the dinner, right? Maybe making it more quality time, less worry, less responsibility. Because you're right, it's one thing to say water plants, but if you had to water plants 3 times a day, every day, that would over time, that's a chore, right? That'd become a negative. Especially today's environment where there's so many things to do. There's so many ways to spend the few moments we have here.
Yeah, it's been great. It's changed so many people's lives. And we also, as I mentioned, we still deliver groceries. So you can still cook if you wanted to, right? We also have meal kits. We have all the options for however you want to spend your time.
Yeah, time. That's what's limited, right? I mean, that's what we'd always appreciate having more of, or more of to do what we want.
Yeah, meal preparation as the originally designed whole was extremely wasteful and stressful, as a proportionate of a lifestyle now of so many options for ways to spend your time.
Man, I wish we had that here. Are you considering bringing it here?
I've talked to some people, Bezos is always interested in transformative platforms.
You talked with Bezos?
Well, I sent him a few ideas I thought could be healthy on his platform.
Really? Like what?
His movie platform. I explained to him that he could not only increase rentals, but also increase purchases by altering the way he does it now.
How so?
I explained to him a marketing idea where you could say, for example, for 24 hours after a movie rental, you could have the option for buying the movie for the difference in price.
Okay, I rent a movie.
So you rent a movie, right? Let's say it's $5. I'm just making up numbers.
Okay.
You watch it. Then after you've watched it, you have 24 hours to decide if you want to buy it. And if you do, you get the rental price off the purchase price. So in a sense, it is immediately marketed to you as being quote unquote on sale.
Oh, yeah, okay. So this would increase both rentals and purchases?
Yeah, so you'd have more rentals because now people don't see their $5 rental as being temporary. It could, if they decide to buy it, it could save them $5, right, off the purchase price. I mean, they were already committed to losing $5 for the rental. So through their platform, that $5 could turn into a $5 discount. It's up to them, the buyer. And after they've seen the movie, that movie for a limited time, say 24 hours, only costs them $15 to buy, right, instead of $20.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking is it would increase rentals because people would like the opportunity to not totally lose their rental cost.
Right.
And it would increase sales because the movie, perhaps off the feeling of liking it, also appears to be on sale, right? Like $5 lower than its purchase price.
Right. And even if you're on the fence about the movie,
it's sort of on sale at that point. So it's kind of like an additional reason to buy it.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I would totally rent everything from a place like that, if somebody offered that here. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, right.
And he didn't use it, I guess, huh?
No, I guess not. But he has his hands full.
Yeah, but if I find somebody that can help you bring your tech from your site over here, your ventures, can I have them contact you?
Yeah. Of course. Here you go. Has my
Gold, of
email
course.
number.
Whoa, this is heavy. What is this?
Solid gold.
No, it isn't. Is it?
64 karat solid gold.
Okay. So the email is nudepics at... Oh, this is a filthy domain. This domain address this is gross, man.
No. See, the first 3 characters are a word.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. That's not so bad, yeah.
Then the next 4 characters are a word.
Oh, that's disgusting.
No. Then the next 5 characters are a word.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's clever. Yeah.
Then the next 3 characters.
This is sick. This is totally out of line, Paul.
No. Then the last 2 characters are a word.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. That's nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. You should take the first letter of each word and capitalize them.
Oh, I knew you were a capitalist. Speaking of Bezos, did you see his modeling AI?
No.
Yeah, so maybe in less than 2 years, all the images of models wearing clothes on their site will look exactly like you, right? Your exact body type and dimensions and everything.
Really?
Yeah, they developed an AI that can generate moving models, turning around and walking, modeling clothes that looks the same as real people. I mean, exactly, right? Like models or like you.
Wow. So no more models then, huh?
Well, a lot less maybe. I guess good-looking people are going to have to find a new gig.
Less photographers too.
If he releases it, yeah. But I doubt he will. It's a competitive advantage. I can see him releasing the version that generates models, but keeping private the version that can generate you and have that be Amazon only.
Speaking of Amazon, you have an online store too, right?
Oh, yeah. That's new, yeah.
But now, do I understand it right? You don't sell anything.
We don't ship anything.
So it's all digital products.
No. On the site, we have 10 times as many items as Amazon has. And we have a bunch of cool shopping features just like Amazon, but we don't ship anything.
But people buy stuff?
They do, but they don't pay for it. So we give them credits every month, 10,000 credits, and you can earn more over time. And the products are real products. They exist in the real world, whether it be a paper plate or a jetpack. But see, it fulfills the people's love of shopping.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they can buy things there that they really can't buy in real life. They can shop around. They can compare products. They can add to their favorite lists, and all that fun stuff. And it's therapeutic for people, Commoners tend to stress shop, and this can relieve stress.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we need that here for my wife. But so how do you make money?
Well, the product manufacturers and shops, they see it as an advertising opportunity. So they can show off their products. And since it's fake money, people might look at other products they might not otherwise look at, because in real life, you might filter by price. You know what I mean? And then we also have ad network.
Okay, that's pretty neat. I bet that helps a lot of people with stress. I've always thought that people like the act of shopping, but not really the act of spending their money, or storing the junk.
Right.
Right? I mean, hoarders buy things to their detriment. And it's probably about the shopping, the decision-making, the ordering, and not about getting rid of their money.
Yes, right. I think there are a lot of benefits for the shopper.
Yeah, that's clever. That's really clever. So, man, I'm getting hungry. This seems like a good place to end it, huh?
Sure. This has been great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, my friend. Let's go to dinner. On you.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Finally done? Yeah.
I mean, all this here. Can you believe that? You know. Yeah. No, yeah, I know. Okay.